Previously on the Pool House.
So I get paid to legally stalk people and spy on people.
Oh my God.
I knew you'd love it.
I've done things where I've gone out with a partner. I've had to hide in the trunk because we have to go through security clearances and stuff like that. So they're going to set you up into a situation, say, well, he always goes running this route. Well, we're going to have a girl run along that route and run by and, you know, and maybe trip or something. And, oh, hey, and most of the time, these guys go for it.
Give me some tips.
Yeah. Right.
Off the record.
How long does it take to train a bait person or maybe someone in your
she's
position?
actually interested in this. You're really interested.
Rose, I'm going to use you as, let me help you. I'm going to use you as
double team.
How long do I have to train for? What's the application process?
One isn't your
what
type,
college did you go to? What's your degree in?
There's no degree, you know, for just being a bait girl or a bait guy or necessarily certification. It's just you're not going to get the details of the case because there's so much confidentiality. You'll only get so much information. And there's no training. Like, either you're good at it or you're not. It's really that simple. Like,
what makes you good at it?
Okay, so you think it would be so easy. I go there and I'll be cool. A lot of people, they'll get sweaty palms. Their heart will start to beat and they get a little shaky. Like, oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, but it's really hard. And this is actually happening. And like, you get people and they'll freak out or they'll like act a little weird. And like, people can tell because it's all fun and games. You can do it with your friends. You can do it if you're out, like just on a regular Friday night and be like, look, I can get this guy, get his number or whatever.
We have a question by T-Ra. Does the person being investigated find out about you in the end?
Does the person being investigated find out about you in the end? That's a good question.
They're not supposed to.
The reveals are reveal.
It's really messed up if they do. And sometimes we have had it and we try to like really keep, you know, monitor it and preface it like with the women because in my case, I've only ever worked with women with cheating husbands. And so like when I'm obviously, you know, as a bait girl, the guy, sometimes she will get really upset. And she will just see something that makes her so mad when we give her the paperwork in the file. She'll go to him and just slam it down and be like, I'm so smart. I'm smarter than you ever knew I was. And I have all the proof that you cheated and this and this and that. And this is the girl. You know, like, and they do that sometimes. I'm like, that's really messed up, man. You just burned me. And if he ever sees me out, that's a problem. Right. So you really don't want that because you are ruining people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like they think that of you. I'm like, well, you're the one who was banging all the prostitutes on your wife with your 4 kids. So why are y'all mad at me?
Right.
You know, but they do get that way. So, you know, we try to keep it confidential and most women are, but sometimes they lose their cool because it's such a high emotional, like, voltage situation.
Right.
Wow.
So what's the furthest that a bait girl has gone with?
Well, we even sometimes hire strippers because you have a bachelor party.
Yeah.
And so that we will send her into the room, like send her to the room. We'll say, if the guy asks you into the room, who, you know, the fiance, she wants to make sure, then you go into the room and if he starts to undress or whatever, you say, oh, I have a stomach ache and I have to leave.
Yeah, like making an excuse.
Making up an excuse. She never actually has to do anything with it.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, I've been in situations where guys put their hands on me or like on my leg to talk to me and I have to, you know, be quiet and be like, you don't get that yet.
Right.
You know, and you're like, yeah. And you feel so bad inside, like for the woman at the same time, you're thinking, your wife is so amazing and you're such a dick. You know, you can't be like that because there are so many different dynamics to the relationship sometimes. And this is true. Sometimes I feel like the woman almost pushes the man to cheat. I mean, you kick him out of the room and he's sleeping on the couch all the time for, you know, like 6 months or something. What do you think he's going to do? You think he's just going to be like, no, I'm just going to sit here and wait for you because you're always mad at me about something. And, you know, she always berates him. Like, there are 2 sides to stories.
Yeah,
they get hired to do things, but I can see things sometimes and I'm like, this is just a messed up situation for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. It's just toxic all around.
Yeah,
it's 2 people together.
Yes, that you're like, you should not be together.
I kind of feel like hearing all of these stories, I mean, it's going to sound so like pessimistic, but it's almost like inevitable that a slip up's going to happen on one side of the relationship. unless you're like really, really, really mature people who are super open and super communicative about everything. And like,
You think everybody's cheating?
if they're in this situation, they're not.
Yeah.
They're
what's
not
this situation?
open.
Like,
yeah.
by the time they've hired Elizabeth,
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah.
No, even open relationships. We've been hired by people with open relationships.
What?
Yeah, because an open relationship doesn't mean you can have sex with anybody. Everybody has their own rules in every part of the relationship. So it's like, okay, we can. It's like, certain threesomes. Like if we invite them in and we're together, but then sometimes that person is like, oh, I really like this, but I
So
don't
I'm
wanna
gonna see
have
them
to go
on the
through it.
side.
Yeah, or it was fun and I don't want to have to ask her. I'm in Vegas. We've done it before. Whatever.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to have rules, and whatever your rules are, that's what should work for you. You have to figure out in your relationship what works for you. And a lot of people are afraid to ever ask those questions or have that discussion because they're afraid of the other person's answer, I feel like.
And then they lose everything they've built.
Yeah, and you stop communicating and you're like, well, I'm not going to have sex with him tonight because I'm just upset and he doesn't talk to me. And it expands and it builds to where a lot of people look back and they're like, they all say, how did it get here?
Yeah.
Right.
How did it get here? Because a lot of people start off really great.
Yeah.
And they have something messed up and they should have broken up and they don't. Or, they don't communicate when they need to or they should have. Or they didn't even know the other person at all.
Jeez.
So it has a lot of things. I mean, every relationship is so specific. I don't feel like it could be like
A blanket thing. Yeah. Yeah, that makes
Think about the breakups you've had. I mean, if I was to ask you what's the reason for all your breakups, you'd be like, oh, well, so many different reasons.
Right.
So many. Sometimes there's patterns though.
What are your patterns?
What?
Y'all be putting me on. No. This isn't an interview. This is a conversation, y'all. Come on, Rose.
That is right.
What are your patterns?
I have a fearful attachment style.
What does that
It's
mean?
like, go away, but come here.
You want to be mean to them just so you know they
I'm
come
like
back.
that for
I need
sex.
space, but then
Really?
I also want them to
Yeah.
come
What?
be close to me.
So you want them to not. You don't want to have to tell them where to go, and you want them to come back, and you want to be mean to them so they come back to you.
Yes.
Wait,
Show me,
I
you
don't-
love me.
Yes.
Mine's subconscious, I think. Like I need to. Do you know what I mean? It seems like yours is conscious.
Yeah.
You're much more in control of your situation.
Yeah.
She's like,
I'm like, no, I don't want it.
Are you serious? Does it work?
Yes.
she just finds that right match to where they like that. They're like, this works for me, girl. I like this.
Why do you think your attachment style is like that?
Well, so I've been. Have you read about attachment styles? There's
Yeah.
avoidant, anxious, secure, fearful. Avoidant usually comes from if you've had major trauma when you were a child,
Right.
Which I have had major trauma when I was a child, which I won't get into tonight. But yeah, so it's about learning as an adult to, I guess I need to look into it more, but just trust the people around me and to. Because I'm so scared because when it becomes intimate, it triggers a whole bunch of things that maybe the person that I'm with isn't necessarily exhibiting those things, but it's just it's so scary to have any sort of conflict that I just kind of like implode and just like get scared.
I bet they're like stories to kind of push them away. You're like, yeah, but I
Sometimes.
bet they're like this.
Sometimes I think it's less so that and more just I'm like so scared of opening up because I don't know what they're gonna think or do to me.
Oh my God, that makes me so sad. You have to change that. You're really sweet.
Oh,
She is
thank you. I
very
mean,
sweet.
I'm
I don't-
trying. I'm actively. I think the awareness is a
That's
first
a big step.
You know what I
That's
mean?
the main
And I
step.
think the main thing for me is I was in therapy for 2 years and then my therapist retired. But I haven't. I was with him for 2 years. He retired in October, and I haven't been in a relationship while I was in therapy. And I think that's the next step.
Yeah.
Is that I need to actually be in therapy. So when that comes up, because that never came up, I was fine for those years.
Yeah.
I was getting better individually by myself. But then once I was in a relationship and then the issues came up, how am I supposed to work through it? I didn't have someone to navigate it with me because unfortunately, I actually don't think I can do it by myself, but that's okay. That's okay. I got to just make sure I'm in therapy. But when I hit that next road bump, or fork in the road, whatever you call it.
You're like, I got a boyfriend, I need a therapist.
No, I'm actually
Should I get an appointment tomorrow?
but I only need
gotta
to
date
be
on
in
Friday.
it like ongoing because he retired and then I just never
Found
Yeah.
it.
I was like, I'm fine now. And then I just kind of put it off.
Did
And now
it
I'm
take
like,
you being in therapy for you to realize that like those things that happened in your childhood, whatever they were, are affecting the way that your attachment styles are in relationships now?
he wasn't the one that brought up attachment styles to me. One of my ex-boyfriends, he's one of my best friends. He's one of my best friends, but he was bringing it up to me with his current relationship. So I started reading about it. And then with this most recent breakup, I was like, okay, why isn't this working? I got to look into my shit. So what can I do?
It's really responsible of you to
my-
say that instead of just put the blame off. Be like,
On
they
the
messed
other
up. Be
person.
like,
Yeah.
okay, what's
Absolutely.
going on with me?
Have you had a lot of stories of people who have been like, it's been found out that they're cheating and then either the wife or husband takes them back and they work through it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that happens more often than not when there's kids involved, though, because most of the time if there's not kids involved, it's like, okay, well, a cheater's a cheater and that's that. I feel like people who have kids, they're much more willing to say, I want the family to stay together and I want to look through this. And also that when they do that, it forces them a lot of times to go to counseling or therapy. And it will be pointed out, hey, well, it was really two in this situation. And so they're willing to work it out and take responsibility, which is a lot different than young single people like, boy, I got 10 more behind you. Just move out of the way, okay?
Right.
Wow.
And you see life from a different perspective.
Do you believe that a cheater is always a cheater?
No.
No.
But I do believe it's very difficult to resurrect a relationship after cheating.
She was a cheater, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was not anymore.
I was a total commitment phobe, and I gotta say, I look back and I'm like, that was so stupid. Why didn't I just tell them, like, look, you know, I'm going to be into other people and I shouldn't even try to play this game with you. 'Cause I thought I needed a relationship. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And I wasn't being fair to myself and definitely not fair to the other people.
Right.
And so I go back with them to punish them. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you thought it was okay to treat me like that? Okay, I'm going to be back. And then you're going to lose me again. It was so many games.
God, fuck those games.
I was a terrible person.
Preach. Fuck the games. Yeah, that's
but
what it's
people
all
can
about.
change. And you have to be with the right person too. I think I was with all the wrong people, to be honest.
Well, we're all acting and reacting to each other's, to what we're given. And then sometimes we give off something and it spirals out
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So we have to look inwards and see what it is to break out of like whatever pattern.
Patterns.
It was.
Yeah.
Patterns. It's all about the patterns
Breaking
too.
those patterns, they teach you
I think
that
that's
in
such a
therapy.
big
They do. It's like it's a pattern and you have to see
therapy
your
talk.
patterns.
Have you been in therapy?
Oh yeah, I'm a big believer.
Oh,
I was
really?
in a women's group therapy.
For what?
So I had been in really bad relationships and I kept finding the same kind of really, really bad guy, which is why I would cheat, because once they beat you down so much and they're so mean to you, you're like, well, there's got to be somebody who's going to like me and respect me. And then you keep going back to that person because you think being possessive or jealous is love. And you have these own patterns that have been developed in your life for whatever reason, experience.
Yeah.
And so I was like, because I was like, at the end, I was like, you know, it's got to be me. Because if I keep finding these same type of guys, it's not like I'm a victim. Like, what am I doing to attract them, or what am I doing to make this happen?
Right.
So I went to a women's group who specialize in, you know, women who had been in these kind of really bad relationships. And I realized all of a sudden I was not a special snowflake. And you're like...
Because it's easy to play the victim when you think that you are the only one in the world is against you, right?
Yeah. And you realize that everybody has similar patterns. Like, oh my God.
Yes.
So you had this happen in your life and then it caused you to react like this and you got yourself into a bad situation. Oh, I get it. And when you understand things, you can forgive yourself, because not knowing, I feel like for a human, is the most difficult thing. It's just not knowing and wanting an answer and not understanding yourself or your own action.
Right. You were saying about your past relationships, like, was it physical abuse for you at any point?
Yeah, I in my past, I guess in my 20s, I ended up dating guys who every time I dated one, I kept thinking, oh, this one is nothing like the last one. I'd pick a different race. I'd pick a different language.
That doesn't mean anything. A different race.
I think at one point I was dating people I didn't even speak their language. I mean, we had very stressed communication because I was like, well, he'll be nice to me.
Right.
And after a certain number of, 3 really bad relationships where they share a lot of these negative qualities, I had somebody say to me, and at first I was really offended, because this guy said, well, yeah, but have you ever thought maybe you're the one attracting these type of guys? And my first emotional reaction is like, oh, screw you. You
Yep.
don't even know me. No.
Yup.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but like I thought about it, it was like probably for 2 days, and it was going over my head and just burning my head. I was like, no, you know what? You're right. Maybe it is something I'm doing. Maybe it's a bat signal I'm sending out that I don't know. You know, maybe it's a quality in them that I'm comfortable with that has been in my past or something.
Right.
Or there was a million reasons.
Yeah.
So I went to a women's group that specialized in domestic abuse because I was like, I'm not a victim. I don't feel like a victim, and I don't ever want to be a victim because that's not me. I want to be a volunteer and say, I understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it.
Right.
And I saw patterns that I've been choosing, you know, patterns that I'd found in relationships like, oh, if he's jealous, that means he loves you. If he's saying, why are you dressing like that? It's because he likes it and he's insecure, like, and that's okay. It's not. My boyfriend now is, thank God, the opposite of all those other guys and has none of those jealous qualities and has none of that because I met with a bunch of women. I found the things that we had in common in those patterns. And I, like we were talking about earlier, I had to break my own patterns, which took a lot of effort and practice and work.
So what was it about yourself that you had to change in order to attract a new type of man?
I think the first thing I had to do was get rid of a lot of shame and guilt because I felt like responsible for having been in these relationships that how stupid was I not to see it? How did I get myself into this again? Da. And so at the end, you start telling yourself like, well, I deserve this. If you're that stupid or whatever, fine, I must deserve it. I'm doing something. And so you break that pattern and you reach out to friends who you know really care. And when you're dating someone, you're like, okay, this is how they are. Is that okay? This is what they said. Is that healthy? Because I don't think a lot of people know what a healthy relationship is.
Until you're in one.
Exactly.
We only know based off of TV and movies, really.
Yeah.
And that's like Disney
And
stuff.
how rare is it to find a healthy, and how do you know?
Yeah, and how do you not destroy it? Because once I finally found
sabotage,
Yes.
self-sabotage.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
found this great guy and I'd start to find myself picking at him and kind of nagging and everything else. And it's like,
Right.
why am I sabotaging this? And you have to get that second opinion to say, okay, well, maybe you're afraid, maybe you're this or that.
I feel like as women, we do that a lot.
You think we
I don't know. Maybe
sabotage?
I'm generalizing. Okay, let's say as people, we do that a lot. We self-sabotage ourselves
I
out
agree.
of fear. I think all of it stems from fear. Fear and insecurity, because deep down, maybe we don't think we deserve that kind of love. We deserve that kind of treatment from the person that we're with. And sometimes that self-sabotaging part of us will push the other person away and kind of push them to like do what we're fearing that they will do.
Yes.
You know what I
A
mean?
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
for real, I think we do that to ourselves, and I don't understand why. I really don't. Like I don't know.
Human
What do you think,
psychology.
I was
Danielle?
trying
Like,
to think of like when I did that, like what was it helping?
right.
And it's really like how she's saying, like you have to be self-aware, like you have to really reflect, what am I doing to attract these type of men in my life?
Have you done that? Because I know you've opened up about you've been cheated on before.
So I'm trying to think of a time that I really just self-sabotage. I'll do things like try to look for an out.
Yeah.
Try to look for an out so that like I can really say it wasn't really me. Like you brought it up, so
Like, how do you look for? Because I've done this. I'm curious as to what you're doing.
Like, what's your strategy?
like kind of like complaining about like little things, and then like when they realize, oh, she keeps bringing it up, so it's bothering you. So then they're like, well, if this is bothering you so much, then maybe like we should break up. We're like, oh, okay, cool then.
But did you actually want to break up with the person, or you didn't?
I think like at the time, I know I'm psycho. I think at the time like I do, because I'm like, this is too much. Like I can't take this. But then you end up missing that person. You're like, and then like you were saying, like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Have you looked back and regretted something? You feel like you missed a really great catch because of that?
Probably. But then I also like, I don't know, I feel like I'm acting like you playing devil, because probably I have, honestly. But then like one of my friends were talking about our past relationship this week, and I was like, sometimes we prepare the men for their next wife, because I was like, two guys, yes, we prepare them for their next wife, because two guys like I thought I really wanted to be with, like after me they both got married, and I was like, I probably prepared them for their wife.
That was training.
Right, like
training.
you're welcome.
I've heard that from other women. before.
Exactly.
They go,
So it's like,
him.
right. Like, I feel like some relationships you're like either helping each other, like it works vice versa. So you do have to self-reflect a lot. Like, what did I do in that relationship? Or why did like we really break up? And how can I learn from my next relationship?
Wow.
So that's your pattern typically is like,
Pushing them away.
Yeah.
So you don't have to break up.
Yeah, like it's so much easier when they do.
really?
I hate like conflict. That's why
Okay.
Yep.
Are you passive aggressive?
I am very. So,
I feel like we
hate
can all be that way, like without even knowing it.
No, you know.
Sometimes you don't though. Sometimes you look back on it and you're like, oh shit, I kind of was at that point
Look
in
at
my
these
life
little
or in
small
that
things.
relationship. I was low key like that. And it's like, I don't like that. That was petty of me. Like why?
Oh, I'm gonna be petty.
Petty LaBelle.
Yeah, like
Being proud.
I'm gonna be a little bit petty, but
Right.
usually yes. Like you do. I feel like we kind of know what we're doing in a sense, because like when I'm doing something bad, I literally at night like think about it because I'm like I have to sleep with myself.
Right.
That is so true.
I have to sleep with myself with this on my brain. So why did I do that? Or like I think about a lot of things in the shower or when I'm in the bathroom or like right before I go to bed. I kind of like reflect on my day. I'm like, why did I do that? So like you have to sleep with yourself. So I feel like we kind of analyze ourselves that way.
Do you and this isn't just for you, like for all of you, like when you do realize those things about yourself, do you kind of self-correct or do you think about it, you feel bad about it in the moment and then you're like, oh well, tomorrow's a new day, and then you kind of repeat the cycle on kind of not knowing because it's out of habit, right?
Yeah.
Does it repeat over and over again because in that way, even though you're still self-aware, right? You're still aware that it's
I'm
happening.
doing it. I won't stop doing it. I can't
Yeah. Right.
But you're doing it over and over again. It's like
Yeah, I definitely do. Yeah.
I feel like we
That's
have those
why-
tendencies.
That's
unless
why I
something
think
big
therapy is
happens.
so important. So
Yeah.
you can talk about it, and then if you bring it up to someone that you trust, and then they'll tell you the cold hard truth. You know, look, well, maybe because of this action or this thing that you said, and you go, oh, that was the same thing I was doing, but just a different tactic.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Right.
realize. You
feel
know,
like I tricked myself again.
Right. So good.
That's so good.
Oh my God.
You know, that happens to me a lot, and that's happened to me before because I remember one time I was really upset with my boyfriend and I wanted to make a real big impact on him.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, you know, my therapist said this and this and this, and you're wrong for doing this. And I was like, because he listens, he's like, did she really? Oh, and he'll think about it. And then I went and I told her, I was like, I told him that you told me that. She's like, why'd you do that? I was like, okay. So I went home and I was like, okay, so I lied when I said she said that. I needed you to have an impact. And he was
Right.
like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So like, yeah, it can't get to me and I can do that stuff. You're human. But
You
I
got
feel like,
carried away.
Yeah.
as long as you say you're sorry, like an apology can go so, as long as you're not doing something
yes.
unforgivable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might be like, I was such an asshole, baby. I am so
Right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm so sorry. Accept my apology.
I think that's what it's about.
Forgiveness.
I think at the end of the day is like we kind of are like wired a certain way and we will continually do those things. It takes a really long time to change some of those things about
Behavior.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Behavior. It takes
lot
a
of trial and
long
error.
time.
Yeah.
But like along the way, I think it is about realizing those things and apologizing after or like acknowledging it and being like, shit, like I'm so sorry I'm like this. I'm working on it. Like in that
Yes.
moment I was heated. In that moment I was really upset. I was in my head about it and like I didn't mean it that way, you know?
Yeah. That's
think
if
that
you
goes
can
a long
do that,
way.
relationships
You're right.
can really survive through most things because people innately want love and connection and honesty.
Absolutely.
You search for that. You want that no matter what you do to mess it up or self-destruct. I feel like that's a natural human thing.
Absolutely.
And so if another human most of the time sees you doing that and they actually care about you and love you, they're like, oh yeah, all right, it's okay. And if they're not willing to forgive you, run.
yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Most
Because
of the time, if
that
you're
means they're
honest-
not willing to see those things about themselves.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
I
would
mean, I
think.
feel like yes. I'm not an
think so.
expert. I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree
She's
with
the
that.
expert.
She's like,
The
yes.
guy in the room knows about it.
I think
What
women
other
cheat just as
percentages?
much as women.
They do.
They
Oh,
cheat
yeah.
just as much. They're just like they're very sneaky.
Are we better
Yes.
at it?
Much better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women are
Why?
much better.
Because we're smarter.
Women,
We are.
I'm
women
sorry.
are conniving.
Yes.
They plan things
It's
out.
so self thought out.
Wow.
Yes.
It is so self thought out. Men like, Not all of them are dumb. They're just like,
impulses.
I'm about to just go fuck at the hotel.
I'm gonna hit that.
But women, we are like, I'm about to fuck that June 20th at 8 p.m. Let me rearrange
gotta
some
totally
things.
shower,
Yeah, I gotta get my nails done. I gotta get my hair done. I gotta get a babysitter. We are so
Guys are like opportunists.
Yes.
We're like seekingists. I don't know. Like that one's for
Or
me.
Yes.
maybe we don't even realize it happens. It's someone's giving us the tension that our current relationship isn't.
not.
And then
Right.
eventually
Yeah.
I totally
you
have it like
find
that.
yourself in something, you're
Yeah.
emotionally cheating, and then you're really cheating. And then
I feel like emotional cheating is so deep. It's so like much
like
more deeply
worse.
rooted.
So then what's the difference?
One is just physical.
No, I know, but I'm saying still cheating.
Yeah, they're both cheating.
Do you
but
think
I
one's worse than the other?
I can't make that comparison. I think for sure if it's emotional, you have that emotional connection and it's physical, that's like just like that's it. Like I can't
My
handle
heart is
that.
breaking.
I'm broken. I'm a broken human. If I chose you and you do that to me on both of those levels, that's it. But if it's just physical, like you thought she was banging and you just hit her that
One time.
Oh my God, not physical abuse. You know, you hit it
Yeah.
that one
Hit it.
night. Like that I could forgive
Yeah.
that possibly. If I'm in love with you and I choose you, you know, like and
That's
if,
so common, by the way. Most women, I read
Really?
this study. Yeah, most women consider emotional cheating so much worse than physical cheating.
but the thing is like how do you define emotional cheating? Because
Like a
we just said,
relationship.
but the thing is we can't rely on the other person for everything, right? So
Right.
sometimes you need that friend to confide in, to talk to about
I'm your friend.
things going on in your life.
That is
only
so
friend.
right, baby.
I'm your friend.
But who does your boo talk
Let's
to?
be friends.
Who does your boo talk to when he's like feeling a certain type of way? Like Danielle's like
To me.
she keeps cooking
Because
eggs
it's
at
about communication.
5 in
Because
the
if we
morning.
don't, then I'm gonna have to call Elizabeth. And I don't want to call her. Yeah. Then
Mix.
I don't have. Then I won't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was thinking like your question, like when you first asked us at the beginning, like, would you ever call her? And I was like, no. But then I was thinking like as the show went on, the reason I think I would call her if I was very, 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 very rich. And
Oh wow, that's a lot of very.
no, but I'm gonna tell you why. If I was with like someone like the guy from Amazon,
Jeff Bezos.
yeah, like if like something in our marriage contract said something about him cheating,
Got it.
and I would get some type of thing
Right.
other, then I would hire her.
That's smart. Okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
That's for monitoring. I'm gonna bank off of it.
Yeah.
Take it now.
Right. That's why I would call her. Because at the time that I'm like she's saying, I'm getting a suspicion, like I've already been looking.
Yeah.
I just probably need her to confirm some extra
Yeah,
shit
some
that I couldn't
legal
get in.
shit.
Yeah, some extra shit that I couldn't get into
what it
it.
is.
Yeah.
Don't you ladies think that if you are suspecting someone's cheating on you and you hire someone like a PI like yourself to figure it out, even if you do get that confirmation of no, he's not cheating, I didn't find anything, or no, he didn't take the bait, girl, you're still gonna drive yourself crazy thinking like,
I'm
no,
not.
it was just a bad night for him. You know, you just didn't find the like he's cheating. He's like
Well, would they keep the investigation going?
Right.
We've had both of it happen. We followed one guy and it took 2 weeks of us following him like all like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And finally he broke because the woman is like, I cannot prove it. He's really smart. He's really good. She goes, you have no idea how smart he is. I know he's doing it. I just need the proof. And it took 2 weeks. And then on the second week, all of a sudden, off
Yeah.
schedule, followed him.
So then, 2 weeks to me is small.
Yeah,
You think
that's not
so?
very,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem that long to me.
That I'm not saying like how often do you find they're cheating? Like
Most
the
of times
first
they
day?
call us, yes,
Yes.
a lot of times, yeah, because by the time they're to that point, they're giving us his schedule, what kind of car he drives, and like it's Friday night. He said he's going out with his friends. I get this feeling because we don't just start following them randomly. It's like,
No, yeah.
are there certain days he does things that are off? You know?
Yeah.
Same thing for the guys. Like, okay, he says he's going out for happy hour again, but he never used to go on Tuesdays.
Right.
And so we pick optimal times and days.
Okay.
But I mean, we've had a lot of times we caught him on that first day, and I'm talking like out in the parks.
Smashing.
Oh, just about. I
summer
mean, hands
rain.
up skirts in the middle of the park. Yeah, in Venice. I mean,
Yeah.
anything you can imagine. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, because I'm like 2 weeks, that's not that long. To
well,
me.
for you, because
I got shit to do.
You're planning.
Of the scum, right?
Well, I mean, you do have a lot of guys who have a lot of money and they have a young hot girlfriend who wants to be an actress or a singer, and they buy her a boob job or a butt job,
they're basically taking care of her.
Yeah, and they're like, well, she has my Ferrari, and she said that's just her friend. I'm like, that dude who's naked in the window I'm looking in right now is not her friend.
Right.
Well, she told me
he was gay.
Yes, they do that too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it really just depends, but you have everything. You're like,
I'm sure you do.
We have young people hire us. It's not just older people. I mean, we have people in their 20s hire us all the time.
Right.
So
in my 20s, I'm not looking for something serious. But a lot of people haven't gotten married in their 20s.
Well, you have a lot of girls with kids who are 29,
Yeah.
26 even. They start young.
Yeah.
I see a lot of nice guys, and I'm like, what is she doing? And like, sometimes they get bored. I mean, you do have housewives to where it's like they've been like this perfect, really housewife for so long, and then they feel like the husband doesn't appreciate them anymore and isn't interested, or like, this is going to sound really bad, he gets really out of shape, or doesn't like to do the things they used to do, and she wants to try some new sexual things and he doesn't. And I do feel for the woman, because I'm like, well, that would be hard, because people grow at different rates. Think about who we were at 21 compared to 31.
Right.
How do you know the person you're with when you marry at 27 or 37 is going to be that same person at 57 and 67?
They're not. There's no way in hell they will be.
Sometimes people grow together, and sometimes people grow apart. And sometimes they start cheating. It's because they don't want to break up, because they do love that person, but sexually it's not there for them anymore. And I've seen that too. It's like these people really love each other. They just don't sexually want to be with each other anymore.
Just the pressure that we have, like, to make money for the family, or take care of the kids,
or you get lost in the kids. They'll say, I don't know who I'm married to anymore, because we spent 10 years raising our kids.
Right.
We don't even know who each other are.
Right. Like, you lose your identity.
Yeah, each individual hasn't spent time on themselves, let alone on the other person.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm mom or I'm dad, and they forget to be that other person's lover and still dress sexy and still take care of themselves or still make date nights.
Yeah.
I'm dating someone who has a kid. We have to make date nights. It's not like it's just carefree.
Right. You had a question for her. How do you stalk someone without getting caught? Right? Ask her all the questions you want. It's like, we've got to get
what do you want to know?
You want me to tell you how I stalk? I can't.
I want to know. Give me your secrets.
Because then, like, now they're going to know I'm stalking them.
You can do it. You can do it all.
No, I'm a stalker. So usually, like, I tend to go by myself first. Like, after I didn't look through their phone, look through everything. But then, like, once I can't go by myself anymore, or I need, like, that's when I call in my homegirls.
Hold on, but what do you find that makes you say I'm gonna go look at and
it's
go follow?
Like you said, like, it's their change in their program. Like, if I know you go to work, you go to the gym, then you come home, but then, like, your schedule's like getting thrown off, I start to ask first. Like, what are you doing? Or like, you're not answering your phone, or whatever the case may be. And then if I still feel like I'm not getting answered, then I start.
Have you caught them cheating before?
Like, in the act? No, not in the act. Just, it's mainly like been text communication.
Oh, and
or on the computer, like whatever. Because like with Apple, nothing is ever deleted. Like, it's always in the cloud. It's literally always in the cloud, even when they delete it. Because like when you used to, remember, I don't know how like old your iPhone go back. Remember, you used to be able to sync your phone to the computer. You have to plug it in, and it would take like forever. It'd be like syncing 3 hours, syncing 5 hours. Like, once you synced it, like, it's all there. You can't really like delete.
You can delete some text.
Sometimes.
You can. No, there is a way to delete them, but there is data recovery software to where if it is your phone, you could bring it in.
And what about, isn't there records of text messages sent? So you could order a record from
No,
your
it depends.
company?
It depends on the carrier. It depends on, like, are you on a corporate account or are you in a private account?
Your work phone.
So many different things.
Yeah.
And most people, like, I have 2 or 3 phones. I mean, most of us have 2 or 3 phones.
2 phones, and you got like 3 email addresses. So, like, that's how I usually start off the stalking. And I do, like, dumb shit. Like, I'd be like, we got dressed in all black. Like, I don't want to see us. Right. I need to sit down. I was telling them one time on the podcast, like, the time that I was talking about earlier, the time that I lost my ex. Like, I got my girls, we were dressed in all black, even though she had a white car. And we were going
in LA in all black.
And we went to the 7-Eleven like to get stuff like to, if I caught him in the act, like this is just like to throw at him or to do bad stuff. And the police were there.
Oh my God.
Mountain Dew, you asshole!
And the police were there in the 7-Eleven while we're buying all this like random shit. And we thought it was just like so hilarious because we're dressed in all black, about to like go commit.
Do a stakeout.
Do a stakeout. But like that's how I start off. Like I look through things first and then I'm like, well, I already know you're doing it now. I just wanted to catch you.
Because you already knew. Are you always right? Has your gut always been right about these things?
Like I want to say like 80% of the time. Other times I'm just like, you were saying like on my period, like you was tripping. Like he was probably really hungry that day and did stop. But even my mom's like that. Like my mom is like that.
Maybe
it's
he
so
was hungry.
bad. Because
she has it scheduled out in the
yeah.
You're only there 20 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. No, but I was just about to say, because even my mom was like that, because my dad's a fireman and he does 28, 48 hour shift. So sometimes I'll be over there and I'll be like, why are you calling? She's like, you should have been home by now. I'm like, how do you even know? Yeah, I'm like, could he got gas? Could he have stopped for Starbucks or something? But she's like, no, like it's like men have a routine.
So you get it from your mama is what you're saying right now.
But it's all about like a routine. So that's how I start off stalking. Like when their routine or like their behavior changes. I don't even go to sex yet. Cause like men are so like they could have sex like whenever, even if they are fucking someone else.
Well, sometimes they get on hyperdrive. We've seen that too. Like somebody will say, like the guy will be like, "Oh, my wife is doing all these amazing moves, and I don't want to complain, but I think she's learning from her." And it turns out she is. And then he's like, "Well, as long as she doesn't see him anymore, because I like her new moves." I have seen that too. I swear.
Crazy. But you, I feel like would blend in. Is how you stalk.
I do. Yeah. I do. I mean, if you know, if I'm just wearing tennis shoes and my hair's in a ponytail, I'm very like nondescript. Like, what did she look like? She's kind of white. I don't remember her eyes.
Right.
She had kind of blonde, brown, red, I don't know, hair.
How did you need to get clearance to do this, or are you
No.
allowed to?
No,
Okay.
you
You're
generally
so interested in the job. I love that. The job. And we're
you generally an understudy. You go with somebody else on surveillance, and you go with somebody else as a bait. Like a 2 girls is always better than 1, and we always try to tell the person, look, 1 girl will stand out. 2 girls, it's much better, and then her friend can go to the bathroom and whatever else, but. You generally train with somebody for a while because there's so many laws and confidentiality clauses and things to be aware of.
So, but you just know it, so you're able to do this interview and not worry, or is it going to be okay for you to say your job?
I don't do bait work anymore.
Oh,
really.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's why you can talk.
Yeah,
okay.
I do
You
like
don't
all
have
the
to worry
marketing and things like that. I mean, I do once in a while, but most of the time it's a lot of research on larger databases and putting together pieces of large cases. We work on like national murder cases and things like that.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Why did we talk about relationships this entire time if you talk about murder cases?
I can't give you many details on those. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, we work on international
And we
cases.
should have talked about the online stuff too, because you talked about catfishing people.
We do a lot of catfishing. Yeah.
We should bring you back.
I'm happy to come back. We do, but we do it like they'll fly me to Paris. They've flown me to a number of different countries, Iceland, a lot of different places.
Wow.
For cases, but it's not bait work. It's like, construction law and things like that, or murder or terrorist cases. We've been on those.
I want to hear about all that.
My name is Elisabeth South, and I'm a private investigator with K & Associates Investigations. We're based out of Los Angeles and Beverly Hills here in California. However, we do work nationally and internationally.